I'm here to talk about the problem student because, as I'm about to shock a number of you, drop a bombshell here, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a librarian. Surprise! Yeah, no, it's Teacher Librarian Day, so why am I on this stage? If there's one thing I do know for sure that I am, in my formal academic career, I was certainly a problem student. Now, that obviously, it could easily mean the kid who sits at the back of the class at the desk and is really loud and yelling and pulling hair and throwing crayons. That was me. No. I only threw crayons once because then I ran out of crayons. But there's another type of problem student, the one that I'd like to focus on a little bit, who maybe is not exactly going with the flow of things, but not in a way that would inhibit the learning. It enhances that learning. So that's what I want to talk about today. We talk about the light bulb moment constantly, and I'm pretty sure that everyone in this room, at least bare minimum, will have one example, minimum, of that time when a student and the material of the course, they just click and connect. Ding, that light bulb moment, right? Everyone has some example of that. And I think that second type of problem student, the one taking that initiative, is one of the number one most common light bulbers. I think the world needs more of those problem students. Let's take a look at this bus here. I love this so much. It's one of my favorite things. The Disruptive Thinker Transport. Have you seen this? It's local. It drives around Boulder. I've never seen it in real life, but I have a picture, and in this day and age, that's all I need. But we've got bullet holes in the side there. Someone's been shooting at the disruptive thinkers, and it's great. I love that phrase, disruptive thinker, because it could mean disruption in the sense of, well, I can't think. But it could also mean disruptive in the sense of disrupting the flow a bit, but building new ideas. And unfortunately, in this modern, formalized, overanalyzed, standardized, pasteurized education system that we have right now, those two types of disruption can sometimes be treated the same. And that's really unfortunate because we see time and time again studies that'll say, well, the best type of learning is self-initiated learning, the learning where the student is not following along at the end of the line, but at the front of the parade leading the way. It doesn't mean that the same curriculum and the same course materials aren't being taught. The same checklist boxes can be marked off, but the way they're being taught is unique to the person that's being taught. And so I think that the world needs more of those disruptive thinkers. I'm really addicted. Have any of you heard of Bikram yoga? This is my new favorite thing that I've become super, super hooked on. And it's this really intense, not the Americanized sit and hum and breathe yoga, but the really intense, like, crazy, stretchy yoga. And then, just to make things a little bit more fun, Bikram yoga is done in 105 degrees. What? I sweat my face off every time. And there is always a moment where I'm sitting there trying to pull my leg up over my head like that. Keyword, trying to pull my leg up over my head like that. And I'm thinking, I am ironing myself. Why am I in this 105-degree heat? This is ridiculous. Well, there's a reason for that. That 105 degrees, you detox through all that sweat, get rid of the bad stuff. It's helpful so you can get deeper into those stretches as you try to pull that leg around. It's safer, so when all these different parts of your body are being adjusted, it's better. It's good for your circulatory system. It relaxes you. That heat is important while you're trying to push, as the teachers say over and over, beyond your flexibility, pulling beyond your flexibility. In fact, Bikram Choudhury, the founder of Bikram Yoga, appropriate name, calls this 105-degree room a torture chamber. So I started to think about the torture chamber and the classroom. And what is the optimal prime conditions that could inspire original thought and critical thinking and higher level inquiry and individuality? Because the world needs more free minds. Everyone, of course, is familiar with Think Different, probably the biggest cheerleader, the biggest battle cry of original thinking, right? And these are everywhere. The commercial, here's to the crazy ones, the rebels, the misfits. The ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. And these posters are everywhere. I remember in countless classrooms, Steve Jobs, Think Different. There was Gandhi, Think Different. Yoda, Think Different. That one was interesting. But they're everywhere. And I think it's kind of in the same category of, here's a beautiful nature scene and the word believe. Believe, because this sunset is pretty. Great. Okay, I'm over it. It's cliche, right? These posters, but is there a reason it's cliche? Is there some truth in there somewhere? Because to some degree, we all have to be just mildly delusional, overly optimistic about our own limits and our own abilities so that we can push them a little bit further, go beyond our flexibility. And it's not just about being different. It's about the unique brand of different, the unique, specific, exclusive different that only you can be. What is your difference? What is it that, as an educator, you can bring to the classroom and make material come to life with that no other teacher could? What is your passion? And if you're an English teacher, maybe your passion is English. Great. If you're a math teacher and your passion in life is mathematics, perfect. You're in the right profession. But that's an x-axis. Where's the y on that? What is intersecting with that? Perhaps if you're an English teacher, you can teach English through really brilliant works of literature and theater and plays. You can put on performing arts. If you're a math teacher, maybe you can teach geometry through origami if you're really good at that. Maybe if you're a history teacher, you can teach hands-on history through preservation work. These are all examples of teachers that I was lucky enough to have. And that is the best kind of learning, celebrating that different, that individuality. It's great learning, and it sets the ultimate example for students. And you have an obligation to set that example. The educator has a moral responsibility to create a safe place for free thinking, that torture chamber. And it's not easy in this day and age, right, to have, it's not cool to be the smart kid. It's not cool to be the one with your hand up at the front of the class. Bullying is not a new issue, but it's really at the forefront right now, unfortunately, due to all kinds of suicides, really heartbreaking stuff that's in the news. There are some great organizations that are working, not top-level government, but sort of from the ground up, working with students to create an atmosphere, a culture of acceptance and courage and bravery to be yourself. I'm standing on stage like this with a tie and covered in buttons. I can tell you right now, in middle school, I never would have worn this. But how can educators help to foster that environment? There are lots of really, really brilliant people today. I was looking at the schedule. I'm so excited about some of the talks that are happening. There are some really brilliant tools and techniques that hopefully, when presented today, will give you some answers to things you've been pondering. But we know, for this is teaching with primary sources, we know it's not always about the answers. So I'd like to turn things around a little bit. I really love the book, Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. This really amazing set of 10 letters that Rilke wrote to this student who's just starting out in the world saying, writing to his idol, I know nothing about poetry, about art, about love and life. Help me out. And some of the advice that Rilke gives this guy is really great. He says, don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then someday, far in the future, you will gradually, without even knowing it, live your way into the answer. So today what I'd like to do is invite all of you to live your questions and think about what are the things you can ponder personally to help inspire in yourself and in those around you that kind of disruptive thinking. Because sometimes that's all we need, right? We just need a little disruption, that little push to get to some of those answers that maybe we never expected. Thank you.